Hunting After Dark is sponsored by Feral Texas Outdoors, Thermal and Night Vision Optics.
Hey guys, it's Jason Price here with the Hunting After Dark podcast, my co-host Justin Rumley, and I'm already sweating, man. I've got the long pants on. Everybody's complaining I was showing too much leg over here on the podcast, so I'm sorry.
All about the leg showing.
So now I'm just going to sweat. I'm just going to sweat wearing my Wrangler pants on.
Yeah, more power to you, man. I'll keep the shorts on. Show off the meat. I'd rather show off the meat and be cool than get hot, man.
I'm going to go get me some of those skater shorts so I can go back to wearing shorts again. Right? We just needed to cool off down here.
That would be nice. That would be the easiest solution rather than going to buy something. Just tell that damn sun to stay away.
And still going out, like, oh yeah, we got a cold front. It says still 80 degrees at night.
Yeah,
80 degrees around nighttime walking through these fields carrying all this gear. But guys, we have a new product here by Rick's Optics, and that is what we're going to be talking about today. I will get off topic. I will talk about a bunch of other stuff, but but we will cover everything, I promise.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
We have had the products early. Justin and I have both been running both of the new Leaps that are launching today. If I get some time, I'll try to sneak in a couple clips here while we're talking here. So we won't be on the live, but it'll be on when we put it on the podcast.
Yeah, the YouTube channel mainly.
Spotify,
yeah,
and Apple.
mainly be able to see
Apple's
it there.
not video, but Spotify and YouTube will have the videos on there.
Yeah, you'll be able to see it at
Apple
least.
can't keep up with the times. They're just straight audio still.
Yeah.
So you'll have to just kick over and watch those videos, guys. So we're gonna kind of do it old unboxing style.
Yeah.
Units that we were testing already on the guns. I didn't feel like pulling them off, so I got another one unit right here. And they look exactly the same. You can't tell the difference, guys, so we're just going to be referencing the same unit here.
Same unit. I was going to say, like Jason mentioned, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between the two. Aside from the box and the labeling, that's the only way you can tell the difference. That's really it.
And our new product names are...
So you got the Rick's Leap L6R and the Rick's Leap L3R. So you've got your L3R, which is a 35-384 version with the built-in laser rangefinder. Then you got the L6R, which is the 50-640 with the built-in laser rangefinder.
All right, guys, I'm sorry. I am not one of these YouTube people that will sit here and do this unboxing where they literally show you every piece of paper in there. That is the dumbest thing ever. If
you don't want to read
You're all
them?
Stupid if y'all are doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to read it front to back?
Yeah. Read the whole manual. We'll go over everything. We'll go down the spec sheet line by line by line here. We're going to give you brass tacks, even though we'll be talking for 40 minutes here. But
yeah, I mean, well, pretty much it's the same identical packaging. So if you already own a Leap Series scope, it's the same exact packaging that you're going to get that you got with your old scope that you're going to get with the new one as well. So there's nothing that's going to be completely different or going to add in.
Put a condom on, it's about as difficult as this is putting this eyepiece on, rubber eye cup on.
Well, first off, you didn't even spit on it, so yeah.
Go get this sucker back.
You're
on.
working.
Yeah,
working
guys,
too
you
hard.
can't get your rubber eye cup on. We suggest you spit on it. Or get some personal
working too
lubricant
hard.
that is not oil based, water based.
Yeah.
There you
Might
go.
as well.
Eye cups on there. So I guess the biggest thing to discuss, we're going to get a ton of questions. So here's the unit itself. You can't really tell except for a little bit of change here on the front. So you do have an integrated laser rangefinder now on both of these units that are built in here to the front. So that is what is on here now. I'll let you hold that here. So
Model it.
So the big difference here that you're going to, well, I guess it's besides seeing the LRF. So you're going to get a ton of questions. If you have an L3, just know you're not getting any changes on the L3 Leap if you have one now, besides having the laser rangefinder integrated. There's no changes in your L3 to your L3R except for having the integrated laser rangefinder. So just know that, guys. Don't think that there's a new sensor or something else has really changed. They're essentially just putting that all in there together.
Yeah, and like I said, nothing's going to be big difference between the two. Like I said, besides that, the rangefinder. And still having to deal with the external rangefinder on the original Leap L3 series. So that's going to be the biggest difference. All the other features, all still going to be the same. Still going to have the ocular magnifier and the eyepiece. Still going to have the same controls, same menu layout. Just like I said, the biggest difference is adding that integrated laser rangefinder. And they listened. That's what the people wanted. A lot of people threw fits about the external rangefinder and being able to get it precise, being able to get it to be accurate and actually functioning the way they wanted to. So Rick's did listen and came out with a built-in laser rangefinder Leap Series scope. So hey, just know that, if you think they're not listening, just know they are listening, and they're trying to get the customers everything they want within a realistic expectation. So this was a nice feature that they added into the new Leap Scope series. So I'll let Jason kind of go over some more detail on it.
Well, I like that they included that throw lever on there. We didn't add that. So like you said, I just opened this box up. That's exactly what's in there. I mean, they include that throw lever now. I liked it. I mean, I would say that it was definitely came in handy.
Yeah.
When we were sitting here trying to get footage, and you'll see us, maybe when you see the footage, you'll see us refocus because it was so easy to do that we could do it real quickly on the fly.
Everything's just right there on top. Even if it's not on top for you, you can always slide it off and adjust
reposition
it.
Yeah.
Reposition it, because the top part there, it just unscrews, loosen it up, right, and then you can back it off, set it where you need to, and it's ready to rock. So,
and then
nothing too crazy about that.
Still running 18650 batteries right there. And they are the button tops, so they are a little bit longer than those flat tops. So if you've got like a Storm or you've got a Pocket, they are not the same batteries, guys. So make sure we got the same battery. So just if you are needing some extra batteries for this, just shoot us a message so we make sure you're getting the right messages that are going to be long enough in the length of those contacts. Yes,
that's the biggest thing. Is a lot of guys are throwing a fit right now because the 18650s, they're not all the same. Some of them vary in sizes, lengths, button top, flat top. Reach out to us if you're in need of extra batteries. That way we can make sure you get the right batteries. That way you don't order them, put them in your scope, put them in your handheld. They don't fit. Well, then we got to do a whole return process on it, things like that. So call us before you purchase them if you're 50-50 on it. That way we can try them out here before we ship them out for you, make sure they all work the way you want them to work, and we can definitely make that all happen for you.
So right now, as the software and button layout is, as far as, well, I guess I need to go ahead and jump up to what we're going to look at in far as the L6R. Yeah. So L3R, like we said, just adding laser rangefinder, make that integrated, same kind of setup, same setup as your original L3. So a 35 millimeter 384, 12 micron sensor. Awesome kind of starter unit. Get in there. Any 30 millimeter rings will work with it. Their QD mount is on there, standard out of the box, just like you see here. This is the mount that is included with that, and so that is what you'll get with the L3R. Now, big changes here when we look at the L6R. We have a better sensor over the original L6.
Yeah. Before we jump forward to the L6R. Yeah, I just want to mention for the spec guys who are very into the specs and want to know the ins and outs of it, they did upgrade to a less than 20 millikelvin rating on the sensor in the L3, and then you're at a 50 hertz refresh, 12 micron.
So they did upgrade the sensor.
So so you're at a less than 20 millikelvin.
What was it
on
before?
the sensor? I want to say it was a less than 25.
Yeah, it's 25,
when it came to the Leap L3. So there is a, is it a big adjustment, or is it just enough to be able to tell just a little bit, but not too much? It just all depends on.
I get always worried with guys sitting there thinking that they're going to get some big huge upgrade in image quality between that little five right there. Just kind of know you're going to be expecting to have similar image quality there with this unit. And so
just know they did upgrade the sensor just a tad bit, less than 20 millikelvin rating on the sensor, and then the base magnification that they have on the Leap L3R is a 3.2 base on the magnification.
Yeah, regardless if it says 1x or whatever in the bottom, that's what it is, a 3.2 base. Yeah. So we get that every once in a while with these products, and sometimes they're software upgrades, so just know if they change the software.
Yeah, and then, so just know that, and then the, like I said, it's 35,384, and then moving forward, that was really the biggest change there. Everything pretty much stayed the same, besides adding the laser rangefinder there. So you're looking about I want to say that is a...
Yeah, because just like this one, it says 1.0x. This is not a one-base scope, even though you may see that in recordings. You may see things in there. And this, of course, this is the 640, which is... What we got? Something, it's like 2.5.
The 640, they're claiming it's a 2.8 base magnification on that guy.
You're getting down to the tenths for you guys. So 2.8 is your base magnification. That's 1 times 2.8. Then you go up and your digital magnification says 2 times. So we have to do a little bit of multiplication here when you're using these, so you kind of know. So I did have some questions about that. So that's why when you see the videos, just know that's not exactly the base magnification. You'll have to go from what the spec sheet is, from what it actually starts from. And then 50 millimeter, we are 640. 12 micron, and then what did we do to metal kill? And it was 20.
That one's a less than 20 as well.
So
So,
we're
both
less
of them
than
are going to be
20.
less than 20 there. And then, like I said, you got the base magnification of 2.8 there on the 5640.
So if a little bit smaller base magnification than the 3D4, but something that's not a big, huge, minuscule difference. Because the biggest thing that you want when you're looking at these scopes, when people ask, should I go 640 or 3D4? The biggest thing is that front sensor, that thing right here in the front. A 35 3D4 versus a 50 millimeter 640. That bigger array here on the front, that bigger sensor on the front, that's what brings all that information in to that display for you to see. And that is what you really, really want to focus on. It's not so much about some of the other specs as big as that sensor is. And then, of course, your resolution is great, too. So think, this one's good. 400 yards.
Yeah, I mean, hell,
to kind of identify.
We got the story where
Let's tell the story later after we get through all the specs.
Yeah, that was on accident that we did all that. I was gonna say it's missing a screw there, and probably shouldn't have pointed the mount right there. You see, it's missing a screw.
Well, hey, sometimes those screws. I will tell you, tighten down your screws when you get some of these.
Because just know that when the
leads.
manufacturer sends them, they do not have them torqued to spec.
Down.
They just put the mount on there, put them hand tight, and they roll on. Put in the package.
Fit in the box. So you just might need to tighten those down.
Usually
when we pull it out, I guarantee I'll probably find it.
It threw
right
me
here.
off. I was like, God dang, that's missing.
Guarantee
a screw
I'll find it here in the box.
But how Jason mentioned, identification range, 400 or 500 yards. We did have some coyotes. I guess this was our last time going out with the new Leaps. We had some coyotes that were hanging up. It's not like they were committed to the car. They
were looking at us.
Yeah,
they were figuring out how they wanted to come in. They wanted to hit the tree line. Well, it's a big ass open field.
It was wide open,
and you have just a old fence line that's abandoned, and then trees all going through it. And they just never went through and just destroyed it because it's kind of a landmark to mark two different landowners.
Yeah,
even though it's all farmed by the same guy, so they kind of kept that up to keep their land borders separate for whatever reason. But they want to get to that so they can circle around us because they've caught us several times in this field where they like to get to that tree line, go to the backside, circle around, and then come back out. And we we were both going back and forth. I was running 384, you were running that 640.
Well, they just look so small. But then once we
but that was 500-600 yards.
Yeah,
we couldn't identify exactly what it was. Like something's moving. It's not deer.
Yeah,
we hear houses and dogs barking to the left, houses and dogs barking to the right, and we're like, this could possibly be someone's dog. We can't take a chance. But then again, it's 500-600 yards. We're not going to shoot that far anyway.
Well, the thing is that like they were never. It didn't look like they were 100% truly committed. They were just kind of fastly walking, not running, but not just strutting through. They were moving, but they weren't committed to us, and so they stayed about 300 yards away, and we were like, God Almighty! And it was like once we figured out that they weren't going to come in
300 yards away for 400 yards. You didn't get them much closer.
Yeah, well the thing was
when you finally shot, you got them a little bit closer, but they still stayed out there.
They just never truly committed to the call, and that's what we've kind of noticed here lately. It doesn't seem like a lot of things are hungry right now. There's a lot of food out there, a lot of vegetation, a lot of things for them to eat right now. Once we get that first cold
fields.
snap, maybe then things will start being, or acting like they're a lot more hungry and committed to distress calls and things like that. But for whatever reason, these coyotes, they never wanted to commit to us. So we ended up taking a shot with the L6R. I don't even remember
You were.
It was 300 plus at least.
You were 374,
and I just put it on top of its back and I shot, and it was pretty cool. It looked like old bucking bull. It flopped up, flopped down, and I knew I hit it, but it was just some matter of where, and it was a low gut shot.
Kind of where they tucked ass under. He's running around. I was like, well, you hit him, man, you hit him. This is a friggin' awesome shot. Just because we could identify, you could tell what the target was. We knew they were coyotes because they did finally come in. Give them a little kiss, some of that stuff right there.
And they put that head up, and then
give you that broadside. It was like too perfect.
At that point, I was like, God Almighty! I had the ocular magnifier tuned in.
Yeah, because I waited until they were probably 20, 25 yards from hitting the tree line. Like, this is the last opportunity. They are not going to stop. So give them that little kiss, give them that little just stop playing it, looking right at you. I was like, you better send one, man. It's like you better fucking get it.
And it was just like, I was like, God Almighty, that's a long shot. I hate taking long shots, but sure enough, we hit him low gut, and he turned back and he ended up flopping around and then
sitting in the gully.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the LRFs now on these units, the one that it has it's like a little red dot. It's
Yeah.
almost like the
We
recording
were
symbol.
using the- yeah, we
I
were
like
using
the
the
little
little
red.
dot.
I like the little red dot. I liked it. I was like continuous laser rangefinding on. I had it in the L3. You had it in the L6. I mean, it was quick. I mean, it was quick response times. For
Yeah, we knew
continuous,
how
for
far
it
we were
coming
shooting
in,
every
for
time.
him coming in and giving us just that little bit. We knew exactly where he was. I
Yeah.
mean, and you were dropping across. You were dropping it down because your crosshair in that is not always going to line up. You're going to have your symbol a little bit different. You're magged up a whole lot.
Yeah.
But when we went through the footage and stuff, it's like you were pulling up. Like you're pulling up, laser range running, pulling the crosshair back down. But you were like, you knew what plane he was in when they were coming in and where you were going to need to hold off to. And so that's what's kind of been nice is having the laser rangefinder now where you don't need a spotter yelling out those ranges. Even though we're still doing it I'm still doing it anyway, but I'm doing the same thing you're doing. I'm pulling off target.
Well, the thing is like, I wouldn't even think it. I was, last thing I'm thinking, make sure I'm recording. Okay, boom. And then, no matter what, if I can see what it is, I can identify what it is, whether it's 400 yards, 600 yards, just depending on the scope I'm using. I'm still going to send one, just for shits and giggles. You might as well. If not, you never know if you're going to hit unless you send one down the range. And so I didn't even think nothing about turning the rangefinder on for the first initial shot. Jason was just telling me your range. I was, all right, I'm just going to hold high on the back and shoot. Sure enough, we hit. Well, then, after that one kind of stumbles around, falls into the gully, and then I ended up thinking that was the coyote flopped back in the field. Ended up being a coon, so I shoot at the coon too. We didn't know this until after we went through the footage. I was still thinking it was a little coyote because he was flipping around like a wounded coyote. Well, it turned out to be a coon I was shooting at. Well, then in the mix of all that,
hell, that one was
the second
500 yards.
Yeah.
That coon was like 500 yards away. You see it dirt hit. Right.
Yeah, and then but by then I turned the rangefinder on, and so now I'm working 100%, doing everything, and then as I'm trying to shoot at that coon across the field, the other coyote, he pops out, boom, like, oh crap. Well, then that's when I ran out of bullets, and then thankfully Jason's coming around the corner because we were gonna go get that other coyote. Well, he come around the corner with the lights on, and I was like, God, hey, you're right here. And then he's like, what? I was like, another coyote came out. He's like, what, really? I was like, yeah. I was like, I ran out of bullets, so I hurried up, threw a couple rounds in there, and that coyote there, it was 300 plus again. And so I hold high and squeeze, and boom, I made a little bit better shot on that one. And it's the same thing, flopped around and fell into the gully. Ended up finding one, and then we just didn't take the time.
We pulled that footage. It somehow made its way all the way in the field. It would like go a little bit, drop. Go a little bit, drop, and you can see it in some of the footage.
And so we just
we're seeing. So it's
yeah,
like he got
one.
off to the neighbor's place over there, and a bunch of mesquite trees, and it's like it ain't worth messing with.
Yeah,
we
we just
move
found
on and
the
go to the next place. But it was those scenarios where you think about where does the laser rangefinder come in handy. We're in these big, huge, plowed up open fields, perfect opportunity to shoot coyotes. I mean, it's nice, but you have no depth perception whatsoever. Where the hell we were? Hell, we thought there were younger pups. And it was an adult-sized male.
They were just that small.
Because they were that far out. I mean,
Yeah.
all the way out there. I mean, you could tell they were coyotes, but, you couldn't tell. There was pups, young ones just got bumped out, or, full-on adults. I mean, you just couldn't tell that until you get that laser rangefinder. And we're starting to rangefinder. I'm like, no, man, they're adults.
Well, it's funny that, we're talking about, shooting long range, 300 plus with the unit. Well, just 30 minutes ago, we were shooting the damn pigs at our feet, It was 10 yards at most.
I didn't have my scope turned on, and I was like,
oh, man,
they're
right there.
They're like 200 yards up there. Yeah, we'll get up there. We'll cut the distance. Well, we're walking. They're coming straight down the alleyway, straight to us.
Yep.
So I pulled the handheld. Oh, shit, I can to get it on. By the time I had my scope get on and turn on, I see them like full screen.
They're right there. It's just
and I'm like, I got to hit record real fast, get the LRF on. Because to activate the LRF, you do a
quick press.
Yeah, quick press and then a long press to do the recording. They may change up some of the software on how they do that, but it is kind of convenient to turn LRF on and do the recording all at the same time.
Yeah, it's a very simple button layout. And that's what I like about them the most. Is very simple. They didn't change any of the menu options. They just added a hotkey inside of a button, and that's kind of how they went about it. But it's
I mean, and those things are always kind of subject to change. But these scopes, having laser rangefinder, it's awesome. But the thing is also is that taking up close shots, like we were able to do that. We were able to take shots up at 30 yards.
Oh yeah, it was close. They were so close as when we shot. We shot a couple times, and then we had to wait for them to pass through us.
Yeah.
And we spin around on the tripod and catch them as they're running away from us. So they were pretty damn close.
Yeah, they ever comes to if we were in their way of escapes. But, you know, I mean, you go from close range to long range, you're looking for something that has a lot of capabilities. And this is something that be able to do that. You know, the optical type zoom's cool on the eyepiece, but then again, you know, having the base magnifications that they're at, it's kind of nice just to use that too. But, you know, you and I both have a bad habit of we're used to using digital zoom and we forget to use a lot of the optical zoom and the magnifier.
I'm starting to get a little bit more used to it because I've been, you know, using the Leaps, you know, especially the new Leap, you know, you think about it more, you know. So I was like, I got this feature I need to take advantage of. And so, you know, a lot of times you forget about it, but, you know, here lately I've been trying to be a little bit better about it to utilize it a little bit more. But like you said, it's got all sorts of handy features that, you know, you can definitely make worthwhile, and definitely the bang for the buck is there with the features and, you know, everything that you're getting within these new Leaps.
Yeah, it's been interesting to run. Go back to the Leap series again. You know, when they were the first ones to have kind of the optical type zoom. I always call it a magnifier. You know, guys in the technical world, you know, you use magnifiers with, you know, red dots and things like that. I mean, that's essentially what this is. To that display where you are magnifying to the display, guys. If you've never run the Leap series, that's what you're doing here is you're magnifying up to the display to be able to shoot and be able to see with this. So it is an awesome unit to if you're used to the variable type scope of the daytime. Well, sweetheart, is there anything that we need to address? Sorry,
No,
Jess had to get somebody set up with a rental, so she's...
No, nobody.
Nope, nobody got any complaints and no questions. Man, dang, it's going to be a good day on Thursday.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a good Thursday. I had to get out of here.
Do these at 4:30.
Get out of here while we're doing good.
Yeah, do these at 4:30. Nobody got any complaints,
That's
right?
But now another handy tool that we haven't really messed with on these new Leap scopes with the built-in rangefinders, they do have the ballistic calculator. You need to get in there and play with it and try it out. But I would imagine it's going to be very, very accurate. You know, a lot of these manufacturers, they won't release something or some sort of software that they know that won't work. They're going to make sure it all works.
Your data in there, you know, your feet per second. It's always the biggest thing when you look at ballistic calculators.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to use them just for the fact, like me using them personally, I don't like to use them just for the fact is I want them close.
Yeah.
I want
if you got to use that, you're not doing something right.
Yeah, it'd be nice though, you know, situations like that where they were sitting there in this big open field, it's like they're looking at us, they're skirting around, they're trying to skirt around us, and it's like they're not going to stop. It's like, all right, you'd have been nice if I would have had that set up in the scope.
Yeah. Well, you know, have a accurate drop point versus guessing more than anything.
I'm just going to put it about an
Yeah,
inch. What I think is an inch over their back and hope for the best.
Yeah, I was going to say, usually I'm not going to shoot around that you can't hold high at, you know, within 400 yards, hold high on its back and it still hit. You know, if something's dropping a couple feet at 200 yards, it just ain't worthwhile.
We ain't running that Kentucky windage here and seeing how we going to do.
Yeah, well,
I mean, and we did have a little bit of wind that night,
I got to tell people, it's like, they're like, oh, shoot 308. I said, why are you swinging a sledgehammer at them? I was like, you put that thing up and get you something that's flat shooting. And they'll argue with you. It's just like, sorry, man, I got you all stirred up. Don't argue with me.
You go run around the field carrying a heavy 0308. You know, I still run my AR and go run around, but you know,
that's why I always give people a hard time. Like, what are you shooting? AR-10 308. You know, I'm like, for what? What are you shooting? Elk? Yeah. They're like, oh, just shooting pigs. I want them dead. I was like,
blow them up.
And then you get into the shot placement. Oh yeah, you can get those guys stirred up. It's pretty fun.
Jason can't shoot.
It's pretty. Who said that?
I can't shoot when they're at 24 yards.
Oh, I can't either.
Yeah, when they're at 24, when they're 24 yards and moving and still coming straight to me.
Shooters out there because of all the comments on our video.
They're joking around about the Storm also has laser rangefinder now. Well, I had the S3R in the Storm. Well, I was calling pigs in. Well, I was calling in some younger ones, so they didn't know any better. Well, they got up all the way to 24 yards, and I was just going to have to shoot. I was just going to have to pull the trigger and hope for the best because they are not stopping. And I'm not at 24 yards. I'm not going to pull my phone out and try to hit stop and everything else to get them trying to stop. So it's just like we're just going to pull one. Well, I shoot, and then they like barely run. Then I start shooting them all, but I missed like the first shot because I shoot right over top of them.
Oh yeah,
24 yards away. And the other ones are like at 30, and then it was like, and then I ran out of ammunition but I forgot to mention in that video that I'd already been shooting at all the adults prior. So my mag was low because I've been shooting all the adults and then had to go over to shoot the younger ones.
That's how it goes, man. You got a lot of keyboard warriors out there. They've been there, done that, and they're going to hit every pig that they see. I said, get out of here, fool crap, man.
So what gets to be interesting is that, you know, we do have guys call and they ask. I mean, you do have some personal units. Me, I don't own a personal unit, guys. We're always field testing. I always got something
Well, you're always
And
swapping between. It's hard to have a favorite when you're
I swap
shuffling
multiple
between
weapon
things.
systems and multiple different guns. I mean, I usually keep the same round. I like 6mm arc. That's one of my favorites, so I usually stick with that. And sometimes we'll switch weapon systems. We did 338 arc earlier this year, and I had fun with that. But that's the thing is like I am happy for you that with your scope and your gun that you shoot all the time, that you're able to be accurate and shoot all the time.
Yeah, more power
Awesome,
to you,
man. Switch up every week and then let's talk.
Yeah,
Switch up every week where you're doing a different scope, you're running a prototype, you're doing something else. I said, something that you have to constantly change all the time, and it does make it a challenge. I mean, it's made me a better shooter. Just always not expecting the same environment, taking more time. Yeah. If it was something I was used to all the time, I would probably, be pulling the trigger quicker and things like that. But,
you'd be
I take a
used
little
to
more
it.
time. Sometimes, just need some cool footage. You sit there and wait, and you're like, I want to see how close these suckers are going to get to me before I'm going to have to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Because it's just cool stuff to see. See how close
You're
they're going to
right
get. Like,
there
I
in
can
their
see them
habit.
with my left eye. I can see them walking right in front of us. We were running the Titan the other night. Speaking of things up close and weird things that pigs are doing, is we were running the Titan T6 to get some footage. We just put that on Facebook, and the landowner called me. I known the guy all my whole life, and he goes, "They're getting in my brother's yard." I said, "What?"
Yeah, I remember seeing.
I was
that.
like, there's cornfields around that still have corn in it. What do you mean? Like, what? Well, like they're like the corn. They harvested and they're corn. Like they just go pick it right off the ground and eat it. Pick it up, munch on it and shit like that. But he says, no, they're still getting in his yard. I thought he was full of crap. We throw the drone up. We see that there's pigs out there in cattle pasture right next to the cornfield. Like either they're going to the corn or they just came out of the corn. You and I get in that field, and you're telling me that you don't see anything. I said, no, man, no, they're here. Like I saw them. Like they didn't run off. Like we didn't spook them with the drone. Like we spotted them a mile away.
Yeah.
And so there's no way. So we're quiet. The buggy's electric, so we're going in there, no lights on, nothing. So there's no way. And I get to look at it, and I was like, damn it. Look at the house. They are in the yard.
Yeah, I didn't believe him. He wasn't lying to you.
We get closer because he's about 350, something like that. So we get closer. And we've shot at these groups of pigs before. Like they spook with a car, a buggy, drone, everything.
They're pretty smart.
Yeah, they're pretty alert. But we could see them in the floodlights of the house.
Yeah, that's what I told Jason.
The backyard floodlights.
We were driving up towards the house. I was like, I don't even need the scanner. They're right there in the backyard under the floodlight.
Yeah, that one's black. That one's tan.
Yeah, and so there was no problem, seeing them without any lights or any handhelds. It's just like, yeah, they're right there, and we get in position. It's just like, well, what do we do now? Or I don't want to shoot out the house, or then you got to shoot back towards the county road. It's just like, well, let's see if we can get in position to call them in.
Yeah, no clear shooting lanes for us to shoot. So we're like, well, maybe we'll try the pig call, even though that hadn't been working for us because this group had been
No, they ain't dumb.
They used to hearing them sounds.
All.
And as soon as that pig called, bam, they ran out of there.
Yeah.
Someone could have stepped out the front door of that house and wouldn't have spooked them.
Oh, you put a little.
You could have walked right out there with a pistol and shot
bam,
them.
bam, bam, bam.
You could have walked right out of the front door and shot them, but they were literally in the floodlights, rolling out the front door. They said that the landowner's brother told me that they literally in the flower beds destroying the flowers up against the house. That's how close they were.
Yeah, it's like
it's not like there were no scent of humans
they're feet
around.
from the house, not yards or anything. They're right then and there.
Well, I do feel bad because I did see the wife out there raking today.
Yeah,
but we shot most of that group. Most of that group's gone. Like there's barely anything left.
Yeah, we caught them on that backside the other night.
Yeah, so I mean, most of that group is wiped
right around
out.
the corner.
Just small ones. All those bigger ones we kind of got a hold of. But I still feel bad they're out there having to rake. So we try to stay on top of things. And
yeah, I mean they're
okay.
It's just crazy. A lot of guys don't believe, how serious that they can cause the damage. A lot of guys are like, oh man, they can't be doing that much damage, and then you got
and they go and they tear up.
Then you got
yard.
guys who just live out in the country and never had any issues with them, and the next thing you know, they walk outside and their flower beds are destroyed. They're like, what is this? You know?
There's another point that we're not even talking about. It's the funny thing is that they called out the trappers.
Oh yeah, that was
USDA trappers. So I'm gonna make my fun at the trapping site. Sometimes trapping is effective with the right trap. So yeah. I'll make that comment. With the right trap. Your old traditional box traps are just probably best about worthless. You might get lucky. Hey, you get, hey, a bust, how does it go? A busted clock is right at least twice a day. How does it go?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Busted watch at least right twice a day. But the thing is that we were watching them and they were ignoring the trap. The trap had bait in it, ignored the trap.
They were nowhere near it. That was the thing. And they had to walk right by it to get to the yard.
And so they put another trap out there. And, it's just, when there's ample food and things like that, they're not going to mess around with the trap. That's why I like thermal imaging and taking advantage of that, shooting them. It's like, well, you shoot them and you scatter them. They were coming back. Like, nothing was scaring them from coming back in there to where they wouldn't go try to go get into a trap if that's what they were motivated for.
But well, then people argue with, you scatter them. Were they coming back? Not as many. Well, okay, job done. Even though you didn't shoot all of them, the problem is the more you shoot, okay, great. You're eliminating some of the population, but there's just that many more out there. So it's just one of the never-ending cycles.
And they have a hierarchy, and you'll see when we shoot, we try to shoot the lead pig. We will try to shoot. Usually it's a sow. Mm-hmm. Occasionally you might have a board. Just depends on, usually we don't see boards leading the pack until it's a bunch of younger ones, and we've shot a lot of the older sows. But usually it will be a lead sow, and you will want to shoot that because then it causes that group to not know what to do. They'll scatter left, scatter right. They're not trying to go to an exit point. They don't know what to do. They'll stop again. It's shooting that lead sow. So that's one of those things when you look at shooting. I know that's not so much on our review here of our Rick's topics, and I know they're not pigs everywhere. So we not. So right now we're heavy. We were heavy on the pigs.
A little bit of everything. Right, whatever gives us the opportunity to shoot at, we're gonna give them hell.
But we have had a lot of fun with the X360 when we rent. So we got X360 time in. We figured out how to upload new calls. Mm-hmm. So we got some MFK stuff on there. We threw on our Tony Tebby calls that we like, and been running all these leaps, the new leaps with the LRF on here, and it's been a blast having the combination of all that, running some new calls, having coyotes come in, being able to have laser rangefinder, and then it's kind of been nice with the easy battery system because what I usually do is we usually will have a bunch of 186 of these charged up guys, get you a couple extra. You're gonna lose one in your pocket, you're gonna wash one, you're gonna leave one in the truck, you're gonna do whatever. Just get you a couple extra batteries, for these leaps. That way you're never having to worry about batteries and keep them charged up. Go out and run for the night, leave some charged at the house or whatever. Leave them always in the charger. Well, don't always leave them in the charger. That can be bad for them if you're wanting them to last longer to take them out once they're charged. But they do discharge off if you leave them for a long time, and that's pretty much any lithium battery these days. But I do like being able to just hot swap battery.
Yeah, I was gonna say very common battery. That's the nice thing about it.
We'd get down that last bar, then pop it out and throw another one in. It's like, we may be on this one may be a longer set or whatever we were doing when we were calling coyotes. But it's we didn't even talk about the coyote hunt part, where you're calling where that one came right out in front of you. We're running that X360 in Rockdale.
Oh yeah, that was just more of a surprise than anything. It was just, you had that one come out on your side, and like I said, for whatever reason, the coyotes around here aren't hungry, so they're not stopping to anything. So they're interested enough to come through, and present themselves, but are they hungry enough, curious enough to actually stop, focus in on what's actually going on?
Yeah, I got aggravated, and I was like, you know what? We're going to do the life-size coyote decoy. I said, give them something to look at, because motion wasn't working on our decoys, sounds, us making sounds, and trying to get them bark, whistle, growl, whatever, and they were just not responding to it. So that one sat there, ran right on my side of the buggy in the high rack, ran right next to me, ran into the woods, never looked at the buggy, was staring at the decoy the entire time, ran into the woods, and was like, well, damn, I don't know, this one's gone. I said, they got to be circling.
It's hard to say if if it really was the same one or not, which I don't know. It's 50-50 because
to be right on top of you. So
the wind was blowing pretty hard that direction, downwind where that coyote went. And we were just, damn, all right, we called one in, and, that's probably it. We'll give it another 5 minutes. And we got scanning, and then I scanned back. I looked directly over the collar. I was like, oh, shit, right there. It's there. You'll see it in some of the footage.
I don't even think you got a chance to focus it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was kind of focused. So every time we set up, I usually focus on the call, and then I'll put the gun down. And then so it may be 50-50 shot if it was really actually focused, because I think it was about 30 yards behind the call.
Yeah, because it was at 70.
Yeah, so I try to focus, set the focus to however far the call's out, and then I'll put the gun down, and then, like you said, I was just scan, look back over the call, oh, damn, right there. And so, boom, it's a matter of 2 seconds. That coyote was just, it looked like at the time was standing directly over the call, but it was just there, zoned in, watching that call, because, with the X360, it's got the 2 motion decoys. Well, I had both of them active, and then we had the life-size coyote decoy out there. And so it was just looking at basically a play of different things going on. And that one was the first one out of pretty much the last handful of coyotes we have shot, this past month, to actually come in and stop, without even hesitation or anything. It was stopped. Wasn't scared, wasn't spooked. And so that was actually pretty cool.
I think the animal was like a female or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a little female that came in, and she was just staring directly at it, didn't flinch or nothing. So that one was kind of cool. But like I said, it was the first one to stop and be actually committed to what's going on and not move.
And then, we kind of went into a tight corner because, with wind and things like that going on, and he's like, all right, well, we want something where they're going to stop, not give them the opportunity, really think about it. They come out of the woods, bam, stuff's right there. And it kind of worked perfect in that situation. But, having that lower base magnification, on your L6, I mean, I think you're able to see it where we knew we could get in confidently with something a little tighter. And so, I think there's some benefits to where they put base magnifications versus you just being able to do the long range stuff as well, and having that laser rangefinder, I think has really kind of changed the game on that. And then, of course, the image quality on that thing's great.
Yeah, most definitely. That's the one thing I liked about it the most. But no, I mean, we got plenty of footage with it. We'll be putting it all together here, getting ready for our product review video. Hopefully we'll get that uploaded sooner than later, and Jason will throw in some snippets of some videos here of what we were referencing.
I'll try to put those in, cut those in, put this up tomorrow. So we'll have this all set up on Friday. My stepdaughter's getting married, and so I gotta do some things to that, get things to there.
He's doing princess duties.
I told him, I was like, I need to do this podcast as a big important launch for Rick's. So now we're the Rick's products. So we're looking like everything has laser rangefinder. They're phasing out S3, S6s. I think we got a last shipment of S6s. So you have, if you're looking for something compact, S3R, S6R, and your Storms, or good bolt action guys, we'll hop up to the Leaps. Go ahead and get the Leaps, man. Go with that, guys.
That's the way to do it. If you're definitely bolt action
any
guys.
30 millimeter rings will work on these scopes. And now you got a built-in laser rangefinder, so no appendages on. Lots of guys I know want to do trade things. I mean, it's hard. We can't take in 1 million trade units on some of these things right now. So some people can kind of be.
If we take you in, man, be happy. We were one of the very few that will take you in.
Trying to do what we can there on the trade deals, and that's kind of hard to do. You can't have 1 million of those things sitting on the shelf at one time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And somebody might need them a little bit of a deal, but I'll let you close this up, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you have any questions or anything about any of the topics that we discussed today, give us a call here at Feral Texas Outdoors. Be sure to check us out on our Hunting After Dark podcast channel on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and our website as well, huntingafterdarkpodcast.com. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.